Welcome back, Vast Icicles. We're back with part 2 of our Sonic the Hedgehog Bad Game Barbecue. So, this group of games is going to be the older ones, back from the 8 and 16-bit era, mostly. Although there's a couple of CD games on here too. From the older next-gen consoles like the Sega Saturn and the Sega Dreamcast. So pardon me also if my voice sounds a little off. I've been using it a lot today. So let's get right into it. First game here is Tails Sky Patrol for the Game Gear. Now, I'm not 100% sure that this is the North American cover art, but either way, it was not a game that was well received. Critics of the game noted it's more of a sort of a skill avoider shooting game, like in the neighborhood of like Gradius and things like that, than it is an actual Sonic game. Like running into walls kills you, and they said the graphics were subpar even by Game Gear standards. And the game itself was just too darn difficult, probably owing to the inability to run into walls. Kind of like another shooting game where you can't run into anything. Silver Surfer for the NES. That one's notorious for being hard. So, what we'll do for Tails here is we'll build a wall. And we'll let him run into it. Sound good? That sounds good to me. Yeah, that looks good. There we go. Alright, Tails, go patrol the sky! Get your tails whirring. No, 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 Tails! Say goodbye to Tails Sky Patrol. Next game on the list, Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis for the Game Boy Advance. Now, it is Game Boy Advance and came out in 2006, if I recall correctly. But it's just a report of the original Sonic the Hedgehog, and a lousy one from what my research has shown. Critics talked about the screen scrolling being done very poorly, and you can't tell how close things are within enough time to really go fast and, really be Sonic the Hedgehog. And then there's frame rate drops, which also impacts that problem. And then issues with draw distance of objects, which also impacts that problem. So let's see. It's a crummy handheld port, so we gotta have one of these. And here. All they did was dump the original game from a disc, tinker with it a little bit, and spit it onto the Game Boy Advance. So, it's all going to go up in marvelous green flames. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Look at this. Whee! Wow. Those green pixelated flames made short work of Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis. Okay, next game. We have Sonic the Fighters for Sega Saturn. If you haven't heard of this game, it's basically a tournament fighter with all of the Sonic characters, at least the ones that existed at that time. Basically, it was Sega's version of Smash Brothers before there was actually Smash Brothers. But not done very well. Critics of the game said it had janky controls, a very unimpressive AI, meaning that you could, for most opponents, you could just button mash your way to victory. It didn't really take any sort of skill or needed to learn how to do combos. and also that the game itself was very short. I'm guessing like the tournament mode or story mode that the game has just doesn't have that many fights in it, and it's very shallow and unsatisfying. So, here's what we'll do. Since Sonic is all about saving all of his animal friends, we'll take the raccoon and the squirrel and the bear and the crazy rabbit and the cat. We'll put them all together. Just smash the whole cast of characters together, and we'll light the squirrel's tail on fire. The rabbit's spazzing out. Poor kitty cat's just like, what's going on? What's going on? Ah! Alright, I think we're ready to continue. Next game, Sonic Shuffle for the Dreamcast. Now, this was a party game in the spirit of the games like Mario Party. And that's it, because honestly, I can't think of any other party games besides Mario Party. If anybody wants to clue me in on some of those, I'd be more than thankful. But anyway, it wasn't especially well done. Critics noted the very long load times, unbalanced AI, meaning that AI opponents, if you were playing against the computer, tend to be very cheaty and cheap. And then also just the gameplay itself was kind of boring. I guess most of the games weren't very innovative or exciting. So, let's try again. Let's have ourselves a party here. What do parties need? Oh yeah, a tiki torch. Every party needs one of those. And what about, okay, a little wine. Okay, depending on who you are, you might have wine at your party. And, ooh, fireworks, of course. Gotta have those. And, oh yeah, what's a party without some bumping music? And, oh, yep, you gotta have the party girl. Every party's got that one party girl. Alright, we ready to have a party? Let's go. Let's do it! Wow, that Sonic game didn't last long, did it? You could say it shuffled off this mortal coil. Alright, next game. Sonic R for the Sega Saturn. This was a racing game where you race on foot, controlling Sonic characters. Sounds like a good idea on paper. Well, Sonic's really fast, and most of his friends are pretty fast too. Let's put them all in a racing game where they race on foot. Yeah, well. Critics of the game said it was too short. The controls were very frustrating. You kind of wobble all over the place, and it's hard to stay on the track. And some of the characters are unbalanced. In particular, I think later in the game you can unlock Super Sonic, and he just breaks the game. So, here we go. Sonic R, and R, and RR. Yeah, that works. Come on. Can you hear that train coming? Next game on the list. Sonic Labyrinth for the Game Gear. This is a puzzle game. Sega decided to have Sonic delve into the realm of puzzles, but once again it was not executed particularly well. Critics of the game said that the levels were repetitive. There was complete wasted potential in using Sonic as a character here because it's almost impossible to go anywhere by running fast. And that's what Sonic is designed for, going fast and curling up in a ball and shredding through levels and things like that. And there's just positively no replay value. So, what can I say? So since it's a puzzle game, we'll drop some puzzle blocks in here. Drop that right there. Yeah, that looks good. And some of these puzzle pixels. Yeah, that looks good. And Russian nesting doll. That's mysterious, right? And of course, what's a puzzle game without some traps? So we'll put a bear trap. Wonderful. Let's see if we can catch the teeth of this bear trap on fire. Ooh, it snapped. Nope. Ooh, that caught on quick. Wow. Once again, the Sonic game did not last long. Alright, next game. We have Sonic Blast for the Game Gear. Well, this was a counterpart to the game Sonic 3D Blast for the Sega CD. But, like most of the Sonic games that came after the original trilogy on Genesis, they criticized the slow gameplay, the uninspired graphics, and the fact that unless you're using Sonic, you can't get the good ending. If you play as Knuckles, you can't get the true ending, which is stupid. So, Sonic, let's have a blast, shall we? Ha 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 ha! Oh, I enjoyed that. Look at all the pretty colors. Equal opportunity destruction. Alright, moving right along. We have Sonic 3D Blast for the Sega Saturn. This was supposed to bring Sonic into the third dimension, but it was not particularly well received. People criticized the slippery controls, the tedious gameplay, and they found that the isometric style was not conducive to a good Sonic experience due to the angled jumping and wanting to run fast. So let's have an even bigger blast than last time. Unstable Ordnance is what this is called. It's armed. That was satisfying. Next game on the list. Hoo-hoo, looky here. Sonic Schoolhouse. This was an edutainment game made for the PC. And it played as well as it looks here. People criticize the actual lack of fun gameplay, because apparently there really wasn't much to the game besides answering questions, which got you the ability to skip parts of the game that you didn't want to do. And then they said there was really pitiful voice acting and really bad graphics, which is hard to imagine on a PC game because usually the PC, you know, that exists at the same generation as a console, usually you'd expect the PC to have better graphics. Or at least to be moddable to have better graphics. So that's really telling. So let's take Sonic to school, huh? We're going to wake him up. Magnets are educational, right? We're going to drive the bus. Okay, we'll put it on this side. So we can drive the bus into Sonic. Hey, I didn't know you could break those off. How about that? Get over there, you. There we go. And light bulbs. Light bulbs are educational, right? When you're learning, you're supposed to have light bulbs go on in your head. Isn't that what's supposed to happen? Here, let's have the bus crush these when it drives into them. Oh, and a ball. What would school be without a ball? Playing on the playground and stuff. Alright, here we go. Y'all ready for this? Huh? Huh. I thought the bus would crush the light bulbs, but it didn't. Still, we caused a big enough explosion that we can do away with the refuse here. Goodbye, Sonic Schoolhouse. Alright, and the last game on the list, Sonic Chaos for the Sega Master System. So for those of you who haven't heard of the Sega Master System, it was their 8-bit console that preceded the Sega Genesis. Now this particular game was a PAL exclusive, but who knows who out there in YouTube land will recognize it, since, you know, the game's so old, who knows gotten their hands on it by now and played it. But critics of the game said that it's very short, not challenging, and that if you play as Tails, you can't get special stages. Only Sonic can run the special stages to get the Chaos Emeralds and things like that, which people found lame. Because I know in Sonic 2, you could do the special stages with Sonic or Tails. So, let's create a little chaos of our own. So, having to be on a region-specific TV, and here's some chaotic eyeballs. Spinning eyeballs! Okay, and we have some emeralds to represent the Chaos Emeralds, and here, this spinning pole looks a little crazy, although it's not spinning right now. I bet you it'll start spinning if I set it on fire. Here, let's do it like this. Right, like that. Ha! Oh dear. It made everything start. Oh. Well! I've accidentally frozen everything. Let's unfreeze it. Aggressively. Bye-bye, Sonic Chaos. I'll say thank you again for tuning in. And if you have any other suggestions for things that you would like me to torch, please drop me a comment. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Sonic the Hedgehog movie at some point. I might not be able to get out to see it while it's in the theater, although I wish I could, because I would love to be able to boost their box office. But I have a 2-year-old and another one on the way, so that's not likely to happen. But thank you again for tuning in, and stay tuned for more fun stuff from Vast Ice Gaming. That will do it for this chapter. Thank you for checking out my channel. If you like my content, please tell me in the comments below, or if you have any general feedback, I'd welcome that as well. Make sure you subscribe so that you're always up to date with all of my latest gaming adventures.